Good day, everyone. So, today we are going to talk about the Module 3 in Technology for Teaching and Learning 1, the non digital and digital skills and tools in delivering technology enhanced lesson. So, at the end of this module, you are expected to first integrate media and technology in various content areas. Second, describe technology tools that are used in group activities. Third, use technology tools to collaborate and share resources among communities of practice. And lastly, reflected on the use of technology and on its relevance and appropriateness. Teaching becomes rewarding when learners get the most from instruction as manifested in their performance. It is an important element in engaging learners when the strategy used in delivering the lesson uses an instructional material. These instructional materials may come in varied forms. One group refers to the conventional and non-digital tools. So every classroom will always need a chalkboard or writing board that may come in varied forms and shapes, such as bulletin boards, flip chart, dioramas, puppets, terrarium, and the like that will always find their significance in the classroom. However, nowadays, lessons can be made more relevant and engaging for learners as digital tools are integrated. So this module presents both non-digital and digital tools and the possibilities of learning about the tools and how to effectively integrate them in instruction. So there are 5 lessons in this module. So let's begin in lesson 1. Lesson 1. Development and use of non-digital or conventional materials. According to Effiong and Agar year 2015, instructional materials are defined as print and non-print items that are listed to impact information to students and educational process. So, teachers need these instructional materials to enhance teaching and learning. So, example of this are drawings, kits, textbooks, posters, magazines, flip chart, newspaper, diorama, and many more. Instructional materials have several rules in teaching and learning, which include the following. First, they promote meaningful communication and effective learning. Second, they ensure better retention, thus making learning more permanent. Third, they help to overcome the limited classroom by making the inaccessible accessible. Fourth, they provide a common experience upon which learning can be developed. And lastly, they encourage participation, especially if students are allowed to manipulate materials used. In addition, instructional materials are the supplementary materials which help the teacher to make his or her presentation concrete, effective, interesting, meaningful, and inspiring. So, in any teaching and learning process, instructional materials play a vital role as they provide sensory experiences to the learners. So, the primary aim of teaching materials is to provide the teachers the layout of the way for teaching in the classroom. So, according to Hegler 2014, instructional materials is also referred to any pre-existing materials that are being incorporated, as well as those that will be specifically developed for the objectives. So, it is important to understand how to develop instructional materials. So, with that, there are also several factors to consider in developing instructional materials. First, develop a storyboard and working outline based on the subject goals objective. Second, identify existing institutional resources, including materials and teaching capability. Third, You may research off-the-shelf materials that have been developed by others to determine if their approach could be useful. Fourth, explore the possibility of adapting concept of other teachers. Fifth, modify existing materials based on the objectives of the lesson. Sixth, if the instructional materials are effective, then you can share them with other teachers. And lastly, the teacher can also sell her or his materials available. Instructional materials are great help in stimulating and facilitating the learning of the learners. So according to Wright 1976, as cited in Kakin 2006, many media and many styles of visual presentation are useful to the language learner. So all audiovisual materials have positive contribution to language learning as long as they are used at the right time and in the right place. So in teaching and learning process, learners use their eyes as well as their ears, but their eyes are the basic in learning. So here are examples of instructional materials. First, diorama. So diorama are small scenes created of layers, all depicting a similar concept or theme. So this is usually display a historical time period, a nature scene, or a fictional situation. So diorama can make the classroom to be more creative and innovative. So it is a fun way to build an exciting scene in small space. So in developing diorama, you will need to first choose concept or theme. Second, research the subject. Third, make a rough sketch of your ideal diorama. Fourth, make a list of your items you will need and gather your supplies. And lastly, select a container or a box. Second, nature table. So this is a table that contains object and or a scene related to the current season or upcoming festival or a symbol of an ecosystem. So children love to follow the natural changes that the world offers each month. And classroom decoration reflect this. The third one is the writing board. A writing board can be display information written with chalk, a chalkboard or blackboard, or special pens for whiteboard. Although they are usually the most effective methods of transmitting information. So in using the writing board, here are the following tips and suggestions. First, keep the board clean. Second, use chalk or pen that contrast with the background of the board so that the students can see the information clearly. Third, make text and drawing large enough to be seen from the back of the room. Fourth, prepare complex drawing in advance. Fifth, underline headings and important or unfamiliar words for emphasis. 6. Do not talk while facing the board. 7. Do not block the student's view of the board. Stand aside when writing or drawing is completed. And lastly, allow sufficient time for students to copy the information from the board. Fourth, flip chart. So, flip chart is a large or a pad of paper, usually on a tripod or stand. So, here are the following suggestions in using a flip chart. First, use wide tip pens or markers because markers with narrow tips produce printing that is difficult to read. Second, print in block letters that are large enough to be read easily from the back of the room. Third, use different colored pens to provide contrast. This makes the pages visually attractive and easily to read. Fourth, use headings, boxes, cartoons, and borders to improve the appearance of the page. Fifth, leave plenty of white space and avoid putting too much information on one page. Sixth, use bullets to delineate items on the page. 7. When pages are prepared in advance, use every other page. In every page is used, colors will show through and make text difficult to read. 8. Have masking tape available to put pages up around the room during brainstorming and problem-solving activities. 9th, to hide a portion of the page, fold up the lower portion of the page and tape it. When ready to reveal the info, remove the tape and let the page drop. And lastly, face the students, not the flip chart, while talking. So the fifth one is the zigzag board. So, a zigzag board is a multi-board series of 3 or 4 rectangular boards. They join together along the side by hinges so that they can be easily folded and carried. So, each board can be of a different type. For example, a whiteboard, a chalkboard, a flannel board, and so on. So the size of the boards for the zip multi-board depends on what you want to use them for. Sixth, wall display. So displaying items on a classroom wall is a well-known, tried and a test of educational method. So a wall display is a collection of many different types of items and materials put up on a wall to make an interesting and information display. So in a classroom, the display can consist of the student's own development work. It can be used to convey information to the community. And lastly, the rope and pole display board. So this board is consist of 2 parallel horizontal poles tied loosely together with a rope. Visual aids such as poster can be pinned to the rope. So this kind of display board is invaluable, where there are few solid walls for displaying information. It has no solid backing and can be made quickly for teaching, training, and when working with communities. So there are guidelines when designing conventional instructional materials. First, unity. Unity in which you should only use one idea for each visual aid and include a headline. Second, simplicity. Make ideas and relationships simple and easy to recall. Avoid cluttering a visual with too many words, numbers, or graphics so that the audience should be able to grasp the concept in 10 to 15 seconds. Third, legibility. Make letters big and readable for all in the audience. Fourth, consistency. So use the same type style and art style. Fifth, clarity. So avoid type that is too small to read and avoid all caps. Sixth, quality. So make it neat and professional and remember to proofread.